All right, ready to explore something truly unique with me today.
Always up for a deep dive. What are we thinking?
We're tackling the Guruvayur Cult. Specifically, these excerpts I've got from KV Krishna Ayyar's The Guruvayur Cult.
Ah, Ayyar, a classic.
No.
I'm already intrigued. This book's packed with history, scriptures, stories.
Leaps right off the page. And what's cool is that to really get this Guruvayur cult, Ayyar takes us back to the Kerala of the 10th to 16th centuries, almost like it's essential background.
Setting the stage right. It's like you can't build the temple without understanding the ground it stands on. So, paint us a picture. What was so special about Kerala back then?
That's what I'm hoping you can enlighten us on. You're the expert here, after all.
Well, imagine this. Kerala, geographically isolated, forging its own identity after centuries intertwined with Tamil Nadu. And within this emerging culture, you've got this fascinating dynamic between the Brahmin Emputirs, the scholars, and the warrior Nayars.
Two groups you'd think clash, but
Not quite. Ayyar describes them almost like blood brothers, fighting side by side against invaders.
fascinating, right? This era sees this resurgence of Sanskrit scholarship. The arts flourish, all fueled by peace and prosperity, it seems.
Golden Age vibes, but you know there's always another side.
Exactly. Alongside the art, you get these elaborate temples, intricate rituals. Ayyar even points out a rise in social satire, probably directed at the love for luxury creeping in.
Makes you wonder, did some see the Guruvayur cult as a response to that, like a swing back towards simplicity? It's possible. But before we get ahead of ourselves, the source introduces two figures crucial to this whole thing, Melputter and Puntanam. And what struck me is how different they were.
A bit of a dynamic duo, but not in the way you'd expect.
Not at all. You've got Melputter, this renowned Sanskrit scholar, but imagine him, brilliant mind, crippled by rheumatism, and skeptical of devotional practices.
An unlikely convert, if you will.
Totally. Then there's Puntanam, devout but unlearned, a stark contrast. Picture him, heartbroken by his son's death, pouring that grief into fervent prayer at the Guruvayur temple.
So, a scholar disillusioned with cures and a grieving father clinging to faith, both drawn to this same temple. That's quite a setup. What happens when these two collide?
Well, Ayyar suggests that Melputter, intrigued by Puntanam's faith, decides to see this Guruvayur temple for himself, and it's not just a casual visit either.
Oh, more of a turning point, you'd say.
Exactly. It's like, picture this. Melputter, the rationalist, mind full of logic and Sanskrit text, suddenly confronted by this pure, unadulterated faith.
Almost like those classic skeptic turned believer stories, a real road to Damascus's moment.
Right. And it makes you wonder, what is it about this Guruvayur cult that's so different? Other traditions have their devotional practices, so what makes this one stand out?
What drew these two very different men in, you mean?
Exactly. Ayyar points out one key thing is the focus on relieving suffering. But here's the catch in this life. A lot of traditions focus on the afterlife, but Guruvayur is all about finding solace, healing, now, alongside the spiritual growth, of course.
Practical spirituality, almost. Like we don't have to wait for some distant future to experience peace.
Exactly. And Melputter and Puntanam both become crucial here. So Melputter, after his experience, he goes and composes the Narayanam, which becomes central to the Guruvayur cult. Imagine 100 chapters in Sanskrit, each one a hymn to Vishnu, ending with this plea for relief from suffering.
So he takes his own struggle, skepticism overcome by faith, and makes it this prayer for everyone seeking solace.
Powerful stuff. And then you've got Puntanam, whose teachings were much simpler, but really resonated with the everyday person. He stressed chanting the name of God, Namajapa.
For those unfamiliar, like myself sometimes, what exactly is Namajapa?
So it's this practice accessible to anyone, regardless of background, basically the repetition of a divine name or mantra.
Kind of like mantra meditation then, connecting with the divine through that repetition.
Exactly. Puntanam believed that this constant repetition, it could transform your consciousness or create this direct link, like a constant conversation almost.
And you've got this duality in the Guruvayur cult then, the complex scholarship of Melputter and Puntanam's simple but powerful teachings. But then we can't forget the miracles, right? Because Ayyar's book, it mentions these incredible accounts of healings attributed to the Guruvayur deity.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Ayyar recounts them so vividly. Like one that comes to mind is this young girl from Udi suffering from polio. Her legs were weak and thin.
This is the Udi child you mentioned earlier.
Yes, and Western medicine, it offered little hope. But then her parents, in desperation, they turned to prayer, to the Guruvayur deity. They dedicate themselves to Namajapa, chanting for her recovery.
Wow.
And incredibly, she makes a full recovery.
Wow. Talk about the power of belief. Are there other examples Ayyar gives?
Oh, there are many. He talks about this woman about to be evicted from her home when seemingly out of nowhere an advocate arrives just in time to help her keep her home.
Like some kind of divine intervention.
Exactly. It's these stories, incredible as they seem, that really highlight how the Guruvayur cult focuses on tangible, earthly well-being.
Yeah.
It's not just abstract spiritual concepts, but about finding help in real-life struggles.
It's amazing how the Guruvayur cult blends these miraculous events with this practical approach to faith, this emphasis on well-being, in the here and now. But then Ayyar takes it a step further, saying this message is especially relevant today, even with all our modern anxieties.
And don't you feel that? Like this need for something to hold on to, a way to navigate everything life throws at us?
Absolutely. And the Guruvayur cult, it seems to offer that, wouldn't you say?
It does. Ayyar highlights these teachings that feel almost made for us today. Like he talks about Dhruva, this young boy so determined to prove his devotion.
Oh, right. The one who meditates in the forest, even with all these obstacles in his way.
That's the one. Dhruva becomes this example of perseverance, this unwavering focus, and it ultimately earns him, well, divine favor, you could say.
Makes you think, what could we overcome with that kind of dedication, right? But the Guruvayur cult, it's not just about pushing through hardship, is it? There's this element of mental discipline, too.
Absolutely. Ayyar talks a lot about Ashtanga yoga, which listeners might recognize from the physical practice popular today, but it's actually much more than that.
Right, it's not just about the poses.
Exactly. It's this 8-limbed path encompassing ethics, self-control, breath work, all these practices leading to mental clarity, inner peace.
It's fascinating how these ancient things, like breathwork or self-control, they're now being recognized for their mental health benefits.
Exactly. It speaks to how timeless these teachings are. And speaking of timeless, Ayyar emphasizes how even small acts of devotion are important in the Guruvayur cult.
You're talking about nama japa again, right? That constant chanting.
Exactly. Puntanam, despite his lack of, formal learning, he believed in the transformative power of this simple repetition. Remember, connecting with the divine through constant focused remembrance. Ayyar even suggests that this mental discipline, if practiced diligently, could potentially unlock extraordinary abilities.
Okay, now that's intriguing. He's not just talking about, stress relief here, right?
Yeah.
But something more.
You could say that. Now, Ayyar doesn't make, outlandish claims, but he suggests the human mind is capable of far more than we realize. He hints at things like clairvoyance, even influencing the material world through thought alone.
So almost like tapping into a deeper level of consciousness.
It's a possibility the Guruvayur cult certainly doesn't shy away from.
Makes you wonder what we're truly capable of, right?
Hmm.
So as we resurface from this deep dive into the Guruvayur cult, we're left with this rich blend of ancient wisdom, but a message that feels surprisingly current.
Right. It acknowledges life's struggles, the illness, the loss, the uncertainty, but it offers a path not just to endure, but to overcome, to find that inner strength.
And maybe in that strength, we discover the answers we've been seeking all along.
Thanks for joining me on this journey into the Guruvayur cult, listeners. Until next time.
It's been my pleasure.